up live and running again. So, welcome back to Current Racing League. Not the turnout we would have wanted, but we gotta do what we gotta make. We gotta make do what we got, haven't we? So, yeah, it's a shame really, but hopefully the turnout will be better. We used to have 20 like coming up every week, didn't we? But for some reason, not many men are turning up, and we're running low on orders. So hopefully, with 12 here tonight, we can put on a great show for all of you with 12 drivers on the field. Then, as the Craigo, his birthday was a week ago, so happy birthday to him a week ago. Obviously, I wasn't here for the last race. I think it was back in Miami because of personal things. But anyways, we're back here at the Mexican Grand Prix, and hopefully, been a great show for all of you. So, yeah. First time Mexican Grand Prix was introduced was back in 1963. Then obviously we took a long break since it came back in 2015. The track is 4.3 kilometers long, and it's not really good for racing, but league racing can be quite difficult with the middle sector there as well, with the fast flowing corners in that middle sector. So we're about to see how the drivers can manage it, but it's not the Mexican Grand Prix, is it? It's the Imola Grand Prix, so I'm still confused why I've got that stuck in my head. So it's the Imola Grand Prix. My apologies for that one. It was first introduced back in 1980. Then I think it was the last race of the season, or the last race before we lost the track, was about 2006, wasn't it? At the Imola Grand Prix. Then it came back in 2020 due to COVID. That put it back on the map. Then ever since then we still got it, but we didn't make an appearance back in 2023 due to the floodings there in the north region of Italy. So hopefully we'll be back next year. In the Grand Prix, we saw an interesting race, didn't we, back in 2021 between Verstappen and Hamilton, and when Hamilton went off the track trying to lap somebody, went on the down part, then found himself in the wall. Then a few minutes later, or a few seconds later, Russell and Bottas found themselves crashing at turn number 2, I believe it was, when Russell went to the grass and smacked into Bottas. Then it caused a red flag, and it was Lando Norris's got another podium too, and Hamilton recovered up second ahead of Verstappen. It was a wet race, transferred into the dry. As we come through Acqua Minerale, then that's a very interesting corner. It's a nice corner, but it's very tricky to get it hooked up and perfect as well. You got the amount of commitment and speed you got to carry through there too. It's very critical to get those corners right indeed. As we head through Variante Alta chicane, as we head downhill into Ravazza 1 and turn number 2 as well, or Ravazza 2 I should say. We used to have a chicane, didn't we, before we headed off, before it got removed, and now it's just a straight dash to the line with DRS enabled. Then it's going to be a 16.1 for Craigo in that McLaren, and the championship leader Palmer could potentially win the championship, but yeah, 2 races left I think to go. It needs to outscore Bazza by about 60 something points, doesn't he? Or 30, I'm not quite good with maths, but King Panda comes across the line to go P1, but Palmer smashes him with a 1.1 advantage ahead of King Panda. Wow, a 14.9 already at this stage of qualifying. Polishman puts his car into P2 for the Aston Martin team, and at that time cements Palmer on pole position for the time being. His championship rival, there he is in the other McLaren, Bazza Fox, coming through Acqua Minerale now. Gets a bit twitchy on the exit for good measure too. So Bazza is 32 points behind Palmer in the championship. Palmer's been in a good form of races recently as well, so it's looking good for Palmer at this stage. And Bazza, essentially with nothing to lose now, just needs to focus on one race at a time and just pretend that a championship's not on the line, and just take it easy in the next few races. That's all he can do, just focus on one race at a time rather than putting his mind on the championship. There's a Red Bull who's just spun at the final corner, presuming that's Chunders who's just entered the pit lane. And Bazza 1 second away from Palmer then, so not looking good there for Bazza, but it's so far Palmer has the advantage over Bazza Fox then, so yeah, a lot of improvements there for drivers. As we see Lozano Zera coming through Villeneuve chicane, and Lozano Zera, being a reserve driver for most of the season, has done a phenomenal job ever since she came into the Tier 4, because every time I've seen her race she's always finishing like the top 5 or something, even when she's finished in started in last place at the Spanish Grand Prix if I remember correctly. But yeah, Lozano, she's done a fantastic job so far, and it's currently fighting for P3 in the championship. If I'm not mistaken, King Panda is the one who's sat in P3 for the time being, but all of a sudden he finds himself under pressure from Lozano Zera in the championship, so P3 is on the line for those two. And let's see which one of them comes out of top first. Is it going to be King Panda, or will it be Lozano Zera? This Mexican layout is a weird one. Yeah, I don't know why I had the Mexican Grand Prix in my head the whole time. It's not even similar, is it? It's just, I was supposed to commentate Mexico a few days ago, but it didn't happen. And Lozano's era goes P2 with a 15.1. So, gets close towards Palmer and well ahead of the rest of the field. So, Palmer and Lozano looking really good so far. As here comes Jay Hart now to cross the line, goes P3 with a 15.5 in that Red Bull. We've still got a few drivers yet to set a lap time as Craig goes on 3 laps on those set of soft compound tyres, goes up into P4 with a 15.7 then, so doing some long runs on those set of softs, so he's got more pace yet to come. Good evening Makoni, good evening Tofa and Culper Paradox as well. Hopefully you three are doing okay. Despite only 12 people, the amount of views that it's still getting is incredible, so I appreciate all your support watching, because even though there's 12 people, it can be quite difficult as commentators just to watch, if that makes sense, because you want to have low, I can't even speak now. Bear in mind I am ill, so please forgive me on that one too. So commentary, the standards won't be quite high as they usually be, but I appreciate all the support from everybody to watch still, even though it's a low turnout. So massive shout out for you guys for keeping me entertained, and Kaylin who joined shortly too. So I appreciate that from all of you. And Eisen, he hasn't got a teammate fortunately. He's had multiple teammates this season, so the lone Ferrari like Charles Leclerc was back at the Qatar Grand Prix yesterday. And looking at the championship as well, he's currently sat in P7 in the championship. I think he's been close to a podium, if not got a podium. If he has got a podium, he's got at least one, if I can remember the back of my head, because I remember the Austrian Grand Prix, both Ferraris at the start of the season were fighting for a podium. I think it was Sofian they were trying to overtake, but I think Sofian had better of them. Actually, both Ferraris were fighting over 4th place, so they got themselves a bit of a tangle, those two, and couldn't get that podium off Sofian. Here comes Eisen towards the line as well. It's going to be a 15.9 for him in the Ferrari, so only a few hundreds quicker than Bazza in P6. So yeah, the lap times then. Here comes that running, but has it validated. I presume that was his first lap, but he's gone for a second lap time. So let's see what he could do on his second attempt. We've got Maslow's coming towards the final 2 corners now. I remember both AlphaTauris, I think, in the last race, or at the Spanish Grand Prix, they qualified really high, but I don't think they transferred it into a decent result, because I think with the amount of safety cars we had in that race, it jumbled up everybody's strategies and put some people at a disadvantage as well. Talk about disadvantages, Sofian has at a moment coming out of Peratella, has gone out wide and invalidated his lap time. I remember back in 2021 when the track, well, I think it was 2021, that track limits were a big thing around Peratella as well. I remember Mick Schumacher getting caught out quite a few times at a particular part of the track. But I do like this track, a classic track, a fast flowing circuit as well. May not be great for overtaking, but the reason why that is because of these modern day Formula 1 cars. You see all the tracks being modified in the Formula 1 modern day cars, like Australia, Spain, Abu Dhabi, Singapore, you know, all those. If I missed any, then please let me know. All those tracks have been modified to make these cars better for overtaking, and these slow speed corners at any track won't help either. It's just the turbulent air, the weight of the car as well, the downforce settings as well. So you see a lot of track these days getting modified for the suitable for these cars, modern day Formula 1 cars. There's Palmer coming through Acura Minerali, who cements on pole position so far, and let's see in his middle sector, can he improve? Only by 5,000, so very close towards lap times. I clicked on board with the wrong driver, they didn't mean to press the wrong button, so back on board with Palmer, and let's see if he can improve in this last sector then, as he makes his way through Ravazza 1 and Ravazza 2, and a bit deeper Ravazza 1, but collected it well. Coming through Ravazza 2, just feathering the throttle there as he makes his way now towards the line. What's it going to be for him in the Williams? A 14.7, so almost 2/10 quicker than his lap time. Are the Alphas joining during qualifying? I don't know what's going on, you know, with these men not joining the session. I'm not quite sure what's going on, you know. I don't know where the rest of the 8, because majority of this season we've had a decent turnout, haven't we? But 8 drivers have decided to bail out on us, so Oh, I don't know where those 8 are. I know some people that are missing, and I don't know where they are. But Craigo there has got a bit deep coming out of the Villeneuve chicane, and that might ruin his lap time. 2/10 down in that first sector due to that chicane, so he'll back out of this one, save the tyres, save the EOS, and go for it once again in the next one. Dat Roland and Sophia, the only two that haven't set a lap time in this session. P11 and P12 for them, also known as last on this occasion. There's 7 minutes left to go, so plenty of opportunities still to set a lap time for those people. And Polishman in the Aston Martin, let's see what he could do then as he arrived to league racing once again. 3/10 up in this middle sector, so might boost him into P4, you know. Takes it really nicely through the Variante Auto chicane. Took a lot of curve for good measure as well. You want to do that as well to try and maximise the track as much as you can, using all the track there as you can get away with without unsettling the car, and also in the validations too, big factor around any circuit. And now Polishman's making his way towards the finish line. It's going to be a 15.3, and it does put his car into P3. Is that McLaren behind us? It's Craigo going for another lap time, I presume on a new set of softs, which it is, but 1 lap hold after making that mistake at the Villeneuve chicane. As we make our way through turn 2, 3 and 4, very fast corners indeed, very easy to make mistakes. We're coming through this fast part, flicking in for the Villeneuve chicane, left to the right, and now we're coming through Torsa, another great corner. 3/10 up is Craigo, so good signs already, good improvements already from Craigo in the McLaren to go 3/10 alone in that first sector. There's an Aston Martin Polishman ahead of us, so hopefully it doesn't distract him as we make our way through Piratella. That was very nice there from Craigo, carried decent speed. Ackerman-O'Reilly, another a difficult part of the track, but it negotiates that well. It's very easy to lose the rear up the hill there, out of it, and now we're coming through the Variante chicane. So Craigo's lost a bit of time, you know, in that middle sector. Not quite sure where, but still improving on his lap time. So hopefully he can keep this momentum going at the last segment of the track here as we come through Ravazza 1 and Ravazza 2. And let's see if he can try and put himself into P3 as he makes his way with DRS enabled for the McLaren driver. Across the line, it's P3 for him with a 15.3. Good improvement there, as majority of drivers are in the pit lane then. We're just awaiting their arrival. But we can go aboard with Bazza Fox on his outlap then. And the championship has changed hands. Palmer said a few races ago that he's got no chance of winning the championship. I remember telling him it's not over till it's over, because plenty of things could go wrong for you, plenty of things could go wrong for him. It could go 2 ways, you know. And you had 5 races left, I think, or 6. He said it was over, but it wasn't too far behind the championship. I think if I recall back to the race results, I might have an idea where we said this, because the race later, I think Bazza Fox retired or something, or had a mistake somewhere. Oh, it was the British GP, now I remember. He said the championship was over. And I said to him, mate, it's not over yet. I know you had a bad race, but still. It wasn't the British GP, it was the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. There, it was the Abu Dhabi headed into the British GP as Bazza Fox starts to lap. I said to Palmer, it's not over till it's over, because he had a bad Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. I remember, I think he hit somebody at turn number 5, if I'm not mistaken. I think that was Bazza on his interview or something like that. I think Bazza came back very strong because he actually won the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, didn't he? The Glowstick in P2. That was a great race in Abu Dhabi as well, a mixture of strategies, and Glowstick defending for his dear life against Bazza Fox, but obviously the McLaren had better tyres. 4/10 up already in the first sector, so hopefully Bazza Fox can find a huge improvement on his lap. Yeah, so Palmer, he finished down in P11, only scored 2 points, whereas Bazza Fox scored 31, including the fastest lap. And Palmer said, yeah, there's no point, there's no chance of me winning the championship, it's done and dusted. It goes towards Bazza. But a race later, Bazza Fox had a difficult race, finished in P12, and Palmer won the race. So it was like a contrasting race between the two. Oh, Bazza Fox in that middle sector, I saw him 7/10 up, and that 7/10 could have promoted him into P3. Oh, that's a shame there for Bazza Fox to be kicking himself for that one, especially in the late lap of as well. He can't go for another flying lap because he's low on the EOS as well. The tyres will be heated up to their max, and he'll be sliding around on his second lap if he does go for it. But back in the pit lane, he has got time to go out there, you know, and do another lap time. King Panda in the Haas there. His teammate left, unfortunately, Ravana Flash. I know he struggled in the last few races. he struggled like the whole season except one race where he scored a podium, did for on a flash, but got involved in incidents, qualifying as well. I remember the Chinese Grand Prix, he got disqualified from qualifying, so in the pit lane too, or the exit of the pit lane. So it's not been a great season for Run a Flash, but King Panda, it's been an on-and-off season really, because he's been there quite a few times. Then one race he's there, one race he's been dropped down the field. But yeah, he's had an eventful season this season with the amount of bad luck he's had too. So I hope King Panda next season, if he does race, can still finish strong, as he's 4/10 up in this middle sector, so could promote him into P3 as he takes the chicane very nicely there. Some people are a bit too hesitant to take that second part, that curb, because it can upset the car dramatically and have a massive snap of oversteer on the exit as well, possibly invalidate your lap time on the exit too with the track limits. But it says you do want to take a lot of curb going into some corners, and here comes Panda. Then he makes his way towards the line, so 15.2, and he goes P3 ahead of Craigo then, and that's a decent lap time because he's a few hundreds up in Craigo. So yeah, getting close there as the top two currently on an outlap, so it'll be very interesting to see if Lizana Zera can try and match Palmer. Her Alpine teammate, Dat Roland, is going on a lap time, had a good result back in the Spanish Grand Prix, I believe it was, and looks to be on good form. He's quite low in the championship, you know. I do remember him when I was looking at the standings that he's quite far down the championship, but he's trying his best to get up there. I think it was the DNFs, you know, that cost him quite dearly in this season. Finished P7 actually, the Miami Grand Prix, so not bad at all. And he DNF'd in Silverstone, and Abu Dhabi also didn't score any points. I believe he was there for score points at one time, but I'm not quite sure what happened to him. And the Barcelona Grand Prix, he was up there for quite a lot of it, but he fell down afterwards due to mistakes in the race. He finished in P10 at the time, so he's in the top 10. Yeah, his main target this season is just to try and get inside the top 10 if he can, and scoring a few top 10 finishes. And he's quite low on ERS, so this is his second. Is this his consecutive lap? I wonder, going for a second run on the same set of softs, as he goes P7. So still an improvement, but he could have improved a bit more if he had more battery in his disposal. So majority of drivers are on their flying laps, or last flying laps. Here comes Palmer towards the line, 2/10 up, he crosses the line now, and it's pole, and he goes 3.5 tenths quicker or over with a 14.4 then, so nobody can trouble him unless Lizana Zera can say anything about it. Currently P2. Sevian finally gets a lap time on the board in P3. Here comes the Spanish driver coming towards the final two corners now, as Duel will be looking in interest to see what she can do, as she makes her way towards the line. What can it be? A 14.5. Wow. So gained a lot of time, you know, in that last sector. Wow, what a great lap there from the Spanish driver in the Alpine. She'll be pleased. Duel will be pleased with that as well. Basil Fox in P11, then 7/10 up. So let's hope he can boost his way up the order, and it does. Only to P8 though. So advantage Palmer so far, as he secures pole position for the time being. Don't think anybody out there will be beaten that time. And that is it then. Qualifying is done and dusted, and we'll see you all for the race. Take care, guys. If you do hear me sniffing and coughing, just bear with me. Just to reiterate, I am ill again, so I will not be shouting as much as I usually do when it gets to a good battle, so yeah, just bear with me for that. You know what? This track is showing the gap, the skills that all these drivers have, because look at that, P2 to P3 is less 7/10. So that's a big gap, you know, and the top two are looking really good so far. and it'll be a good fight between Lozano and Palmer, so I can't wait to see how it all evolves. But look at P3 all the way down to P8, that's quite close, separated with a tenth, over a tenth, so that midfield battle will be looking quite spicy for the battle for P3. Cameron Hill says, I'm all for Palmer and Lozano Zero. Palmer, Lozano, Palmer. Instant down at turn 1. Well, if they have an instant at turn 1 going flat out, then that's a problem, because the first break is at turn 2. I presume he meant turn 2 because we all get confused between turn 1 and turn 2. That little left hand, well, that's corner. That little turn is turn 1 before the braking zone. But no formation lap, so no break for me. Hopefully with the safety cars to cause a break. But here we are then. Lights are about to go off, and let's see who gets a better start off the line then. So it looks like Palmer just has the advantage then ahead of Lozano Zero. Craigo has jumped Mazzles immediately then. But here's Lozano Zero going side by side. Into turn 2 we go. Lozano has the outside. Can she make it stick? Will she go off the track? Palmer's still there as we head into turn 3. And now in turn 4, Palmer maintains the outside to converge it to the inside line. But look at this. Lozano Zero's coming back. Sophia, they're making 3-1. Are they going to make it unscathed? Yes, they are. Somehow they do. And Sophia in there backed out, knowing there could have been an incident there. And Lozano Zero takes the lead ahead of Palmer. And that was very scary for me. I thought all three of them made contact. I talk about contact. I think Mazzles on the punishment has made contact. But Craigo's coming at punishment now. He might take 2 for 1, which he does do. Nice little move there from Craigo. And Panda's overtaking Sophia then. So not really a conventional overtaking position there. But he's done it so far. Whether Sophia made a mistake or not, or run off the track, I'm not quite sure. Wow, that got a bit scary there, didn't it, at the Verno chicane? But they all made it out unscathed. Heart and mouth moment for me as well. I hope they didn't make contact there, because I want to see a good battle between those guys. And that Roland is exchanging positions with Basil Fox. They're not looking good for P2 in the championship for Basil Fox. He's on the hard compound tyres. And you can see him, the rest of the guys on the mediums there. So let's have a look at the tyres, shall we? As Basil goes a bit deep, allowing the Ferrari to come. No, he's pitting. He's lost his end plate. Oh, it's a shame there for Basil Fox. As we go on board with Palmer then in P2. I'll be glad to see that Basil Fox is in the pit lane. And yeah, it's a shame there for Basil. They both had their misfortunes in the championship. They both had bad races with each other. They like exchanged good races and bad races between each other. And so far, Palmer's managed to come on top of that. But Lozano Zero, crucial for her to get P1. Didn't back out, you know, those two. They still went for it. Side by side through turn 3, turn 2 to turn 4. Then sorted it out at the Verno chicane. But that was super close between those three. Sophian being very wise to it, backing off. King Panda's had a great start on P3 and the hard compound tyres then, so Sophian dropping back one place will be a disadvantage. He'll be hoping to capitalise on those mediums and try and go forward, but he's lost one place now towards Panda, who pounced on him at Piratella. And now lap 3 will be enabled there, so I don't think Lozano Zero can pull away from Palmer now due to the power of the DRS. Only one DRS detection point around here in Imola, so it's going to be the corners that Lozano Zero can make up the time if she can. 12 people watching this stream and there's 12 drivers racing, so evenly split there, perfectly balanced as all things should be. King Panda's just dropped out of the battle. He was 5 tenths behind momentarily, but now he's 1.3, so he'll be looking to join this DRS train, but unfortunately now will be the leader of the DRS train in P3 downwards, as they're all in big one train. But it looks like, yeah, I was going to say, it looks like they all made it unscathed in the first lap, but somewhere along the race, Baza and Chunders had to go in the pit lane, so unlucky to them. But there's only 12 cars here. They'll be hoping for a late safety car in this race. Lozano Zero still continues to lead this race then ahead of Palmer, and the gap is exactly 1 second as well. But can Lizana Zera break free from this DRS? I think she did the alternate strategy in the last few races as well. She opted to go for the medium compound tyres, but I think the hards to mediums was the better strategy on that occasion. So she's gone for it once again, and let's see if it pays dividends for her later. That's if there's no safety cars, of course, because if it's an early safety car, that'll benefit the medium runners. I don't think Palmer's in DRS range either, so Lizana has dropped Palmer for the time being. You can see Palmer just applying his ERS there, trying to edge forward towards Lizana. But these two, if Lizana Zera was a full-time driver throughout the whole season, I know she's been busy, I know she's got other things going on too, but if she was here throughout the whole season, what a championship battle it would be between Panda, Lizana, Palmer and Bazza. You know, 4 of them scrapping away throughout the whole season. The championship would have gone up and down, up and down. Maslow is just right at the back of Krager then, as he thinks about lunging up the inside, but the door was shut there, so can't go through it on that occasion as well. He worked with us during qualifying, P1 and P2, were the only 2 to get into the 14s, so the rest of them were in the 15s, so I'm not going to be surprised to see the top 2 pulling away from 3rd place downwards. Panda still maintains the lead, but he's got Sofian all over the back of his gearbox then, so not done yet. But Mazels has overtaken Gregor then, going out on Acqua Minerale, and he's on the hard compound tyres, so we'll be happy about that one, disposing a medium runner, and he's gone off the track too for Gregor for good measure. And now the Aston Martin of Polishman has came through as well. Starting to lose my voice as well, even in the early parts of the race. So I try to take it easy, but DRS is enabled then for Sofian. And let's see if he can try and make his move. Now. He's got to. He can't afford to hang around on those medium compound tyres because he's got the better tyres at this stage of the race. And now moves himself up into P3 ahead of the Haasman. But Panda knows he's on the medium compound tyres, of course. So he knows he knows that medium compound tyre will be fading away in the late stage of the race. If he can hold on to this, not allowing Sofian to pull away, get the gap he needs to do on the undercut on against King Panda. Lap 5 out of 32 then. Looks like Kalen won't be joining me when he said he would be, so Kalen has let me down. I think there's like 2-3 races left to go, I think, in this season. We'll have a look at the calendar right now to see how many races there are left this season. Damn, 1 race left to go then, so I'm not a mathematician, but Palmer wins this race, and Baz is outside the top 10. Won't Palmer become the championship? The gap is 31 to 32 points. So I think Palmer can potentially win the championship if he finishes in P1. He's got a 32-point lead, and in the next race there'll be 30 points left. 60 points left, or 62 points including the fastest lap left available in this race for the race win. But so far it's not looking good for Basil Fox. I don't think he'll be thinking about the championship. Chunders picks up a 3-second tail penalty in the Red Bull in last place. Eisen in the Ferrari is on the back of the Red Bull. By the way, if you do hear me go silent during the race, that's because I moved to my mic. It means I can't talk no more. So if at any point in this race you can't hear me, you don't hear me speak, then that's because of my illness, let's just say. I wasn't going to commentate today, but I heard these men don't got no commentators, so I thought I'd do it myself. Kalen was supposed to join me, so it'd be easier, but Chunders has retired there, my voice just went. Chunders has retired in the pit lane and left the session, so we're down to 11 drivers. King Panda there, still putting pressure on Sofian ahead of him. Mazels is following along too in P5. I know both Avataris were quite strong, weren't they, with Ross? Yeah, Ross is missing too, so is Leon, so those two are missing for sure. Marshall's missing as well. Glowstick is missing. Maze, Pasper, Jasper. And here we are, then King Panda might fancy a move, but he's too far away. Oh, who's that ahead of us? That is a Red Bull that just came out of the pit lane, so he couldn't do the overtake because of the yellow flags anyway. What I don't get it is, why don't when people retire in the pit lane, the car stays in the pit lane rather than coming back on track? I don't see the point in that, you know. The car's just retiring on the track when you retired in the pit lane. I remember in the older games, when you retired in the pit lane, the car stayed in the pit lane, but for some reason, man, the cars just retire on the track, come back on circuit, innit? So that needs that needs a fix, doesn't it? But Palmer and Lozano are having their own scraps during this race. I think I might go silent for the rest of this race. I will come back in certain stages, but I am really struggling with my voice here. I can't continue. You can see I'm already stuttering, and my voice keeps going in and out, in and out. So sorry about this, but just be grateful that you man have got a commentator in it.
seconds. The race being flagged due to wet weather conditions on lap 3. German Grand Prix, 34 cars. The race was a few extensions, saw only 6 cars on. And became the youngest winner of a GP.
Wow, this changes the whole face of the race, doesn't it? It's just started raining. And I think why I see some people in the medium compound tyres might be an advantage now. So, oh, Sophia, they're really struggling as medium compound tyres, but we're on the inters very shortly. So, the rain has hit the circuit then. And Lozano Zero on those mediums has pulled out a 2.5 second gap. So, that's a really good pace there from Lozano Zero. But it has started to rain now. Here comes the Williams driver through the chicane. It's going to change everything now in this race. And starting the hard doesn't wait to go because the mediums there, well, definitely the fastest tyres of course. And goes to the mediums to Inter. Will be the fastest way to go, looks like it from this point. But don't want to pit yet because it's too early to do so. But yeah, I've seen a few good battles so far on the track. And we saw Sofian dropping down the order. I think he had a moment coming out of the front of chicane, got overtaken by Punishman, then fell down to P10. So whatever happened to him, he hasn't been able to regain his form and momentum, and sadly down at P10. So the rain has impacted the circuit, and we're just awaiting drivers to go on the inters and take it from there. But the gap is extended again. The gap is 3.6, so the Lozano Zero is finding some decent pace in the Alpine. And the mediums won't be at their best at this stage. The peak performance will be gone, but it was a great call to go on the medium compound tyres, have the grippier tyres as Basil Fox picks up a 3-second time penalty. It was a good call to go on the mediums then for a short stint, and go on the inters, have the best tyres towards the start, and go on the inters later. So it won't be mediums to hards or hards to mediums, it might be mediums to inters then for the drivers or hards to inters. So the tyre compounds then, and we might be seeing the inters introduced, depending on how hard the rain impacts the circuit. It'll take a few laps to circuit of course, but once we see that, then we'll determine what will happen for the rest of the race. But Lozano's still continuing to show some decent pace ahead of Palmer. The gap kept extending. Eisen is ahead of Craigo now, as those two up to P7, but he's made a mistake. Craig goes off the track. I think he has to give the place back if he does overtake, but couldn't get fully alongside anyway, and remains in P8 with Jay Hartnell following along very shortly too. Craig gets pitched on the curb there, and around the outside goes Jay Hartnell. So wrong place, wrong time there for Craigo. Absolutely pitched on that curb. But I think Mazel's now starting to close the gap. So podium is starting to, Mazel's can start to see a podium in his sights there with King Pandas. Jay Hartnell once again continue his battle with McLaren of Craigo. Craigo going around the outside. Great move there from the McLaren driver to get ahead of the Red Bull once again. Fell down to P9 but only momentarily, but you can see the amount of speed Jay Hartnell has in that Red Bull to carry through. How long will it take for the rain to impact the surface there? Still good enough for dry tyres, but how long will it take? lap 15 out of 36 then, so almost halfway there. And Lozano Zera continuing to extend their gap over Palmer. So Palmer could get the championship wrapped up right now if he finishes P1 when Basil stays in P11, if I'm not mistaken about the times. But it's not looking good. Well, here comes Jay Hartnett once again ahead of Craigo. But Palmer wants this championship wrapped up because he always thinks about it, even though he has a big lead. It can sometimes put quite a lot of stress. Even though you have a big lead, you just want it to be over and done with. But probably not this race if Lozano wins it. 60 points still available in the championship. Really good at mastermind. I'm trying to calculate everything, but Dan Ronan is the first one on the Inters then, so let's see if that's the right call for him. DRS has not been disabled yet. When will the top two pit? I'll go silent once again, and I'll come back in. We're halfway there. 16 more laps to go in this race. Inters will be on very shortly. Ooh, Lozano Zera has stayed out there for one lap extra, so is that the wrong call? Because the track is definitely wet. And let's see if this is the right call from Palmer, because he was dropping off dramatically. The gap was 5.6 towards Lozano Zera. Polishman picks up a 3-second time penalty, or 5 seconds for speed in the pit lane. As their man come in the pit lane then to change onto the Inter tyres. But yeah, it looks like Inter's for sure now. And DRS has been disabled then, so has Lozano Zera left it out there for too long. She has an Alpine teammate of Dan Rowland, but I'm not quite sure if those two are departed together, because if they are, pretty sure Dan Rowland would have told her that the Inters are much better. So the gap is 33 seconds then. Lozano Zera has to stay out there and suffer on those medium compound tyres. She's the only one on the mediums or the dry compound tyres, the slick tyres. So by staying out there one lap later, has this cost her? Let's see if the gap goes down dramatically. It should do, as Legende in the chat is supporting me. Known the man for 4 years. Very good driver indeed. Had our championship fights. Hello Casper, how you doing, mate? As Lozano Zera then will have to pit. Luckily she had that buffer over Palmer by 5 seconds, otherwise she would definitely get jumped by him. But yeah, Lozano Zera will tiptoe in the pit lane then. She lost a lot of time that lap alone, so it's a good job she had the buffer. But we're about to see if that's ruined it for her. Will Palmer gain an advantage due to that? Gonna pit at the right time on the right tyres, as Martin Buddle said. But now it's getting very interesting between the two. Has Palmer done enough on his outlap to try and chase down Lozano Zero? Lozano Zero kept it on the track, which is very important. Doesn't look like she made any mistakes out there, but there she comes, trundling down the long pit lane here in Imola, and there comes Palmer. So will it be close? No, it won't be. So Lozano Zero, you can see Palmer now emerging in the background, and Lozano Zero gets ahead of Palmer. So that was very lucky that she had that margin built up. Because look at that, the gap's 1.3, and Polishman is ahead of Dan Rowland. There they are fighting for P5. So the gap was 5 seconds. Palmer gained about 4 seconds on that lap alone. And it's so crucial that to Lozano Zero build that margin on those medium compound tyres whilst Palmer's on the hard. So, yeah, hard to moment for Lozano. She lost a lot of time due to that, but most importantly, she has track position as you really want in the wet conditions around the track, because it's very easy, well, it's very difficult to make an overtake happen here in Imola. But Palmer is starting to build that gap, close that gap down to Lozano. She has 1 lap fresher inters. Whether that makes a difference or not, I'm not quite sure, but now we can see a battle develop for P1 and P2. Does Palmer have the setup, the confidence, the drive out the lane? Looks like he does, you know, because he's all over the back of Lozano Zero. Lozano Zero looked like she had a mistake when at the very outer chicane. Did Palmer tweak his setup to be more suited to the wet than the dry? We're about to find out what happens on the straight. Can Lozano Zero defend from Palmer? Can Palmer overtake her on the straight? As they both deploy the battery then on lap 20 out of 32. 12 laps to go. I don't think Palmer's close enough, you know, to make a lunge. He's actually losing time towards Lozano on the straight despite being in the slipstream. So no way through for the time being. But Lozano finds herself under huge pressure from Palmer. And these two battling ever since Lozano Zero came into Tier 4. She has had some incredible battles with Palmer, and Palmer's so glad that Lozano Zero is actually not a full-time driver. Oh, Mazzles has retired, he's crashed! Where is that? Turn number 4. Most common place to crash I've seen. I remember Mark doing it a few seasons ago, Relentless Mark, and now Mazzles is out of the race now. It was looking good for him because he was running up in P4, but unfortunately now he's out of the race. So a safety car has been deployed. I can see in the chat Mazzle screaming out no, as I want to sing the song really badly, but I feel bad for it. I don't want to do it, so unfortunately Mazzles is out of the race. Na 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 na. Hey, goodbye, Mazzles. Mazzles is out of the race along with Chunders in the Red Bull. Chunders retired in the pit lane, member, so no safety cars was out on that occasion. And Mazzles unfortunately binned it in the wall at turn 4. But I'll take a short break with the safety car coming out.
Last on the constructor won a world championships in 1998. The record for the most cars in an F1 race was achieved at the 1953 German Grand Prix, 34 cars. The race was the fewest entries, only 6 cars. Races a year, we can expect the 2000 GP to happen around the year 2064. The United Kingdom has achieved more World Driver Championships than any other country, which will win by Lewis Hamilton. 2014 ushered in a new set of regulations that saw us enter the turbo-hybrid era of F1 car development. The biggest change being the engines, which were changed from 2.4 litre V8 engines to 6 litre turbo. I'm not superstitious, but in the long and fruitful history of F1, no one with the surname Hill has ever failed in winning a world title. For example, Graham Hill, David Hill, Bill Hill are all previous championship winners. It's almost a given that the cars of
Oh, safety cars coming at the end of this lap. Very short call because I think Basil Fox caught up to it at the very last second. So, Lizana Zera then will judge the safety car restart, and let's see how good her restarts are. And she'll leave it, I think, very late, but not on this occasion because she goes immediately. I think the Alpine of that road is quite close, and let's see. He's fighting for podium against punishment. Where are they? There they are. I was on board with the wrong Alpine. I wonder where the rest of them were as we head down into turn number 2. Well, they're a bit tentative. Palmer's off the track at turn number 2. Yeah, broke himself. And now he releases punishment. Look at that, really sliding, struggling. Oh, there's somebody in the wall. And that's Panda out of this race. He has crashed out. And I wonder this will be another safety car. So Palmer has lost out big time here. Well, I say big time, he lost one place. And now a safety car has been deployed once again, ladies and gentlemen. We're down to 9. But Palmer outbraked himself and unfortunately has lost a place towards punishment. That Ronan, I thought he pounced all over him, but actually had his own fight against the Ferrari behind him. Very lucky there from Palmer not to crash out of this race. And I'll take another break while I can. Thank you very much, guys. Oh no, we just lost Lizana Zera. Lizana Zera has crashed out. Oh dear, what has happened to her? She is out of the race behind the safety car. After leading majority of this race, in fact all of it, she has crashed out of the safety car. Oh, Greg goes hit his teammate, and that might give him a penalty due to that. But we see some people diving into the pit lane then. Lizana Zera is out of this race. The wet tyres are now on. What on earth happened to her? Ouch, indeed. And now it's going to have a big change in the race. We'll see what will happen. Lizana's first DNF as well of the season after all the race she's been in. And it's under a safety car. How bizarre. No mistakes whatsoever from her in the Alpine. But did the wet conditions catch her out? Where was she at the time when she retired? Did she hit the safety car? I wonder. But now she is out of this race, and now the wet tyres have been introduced. Has both Aston Martins called the wrong strategy? They've gained a lot of track position, but the track's getting wetter and wetter. You can see how treacherous it is out there. I know how wet these conditions are because I've been in them myself, and I put the wrong tyres on. I dropped like a stone, I've been in this situation before as well here in league racing in Imola, where it's been wet slash very wet, and the wet tyres are a good tyre. These two will be struggling and dropping like a stone. It has to dry up now for those two to make it work, but it won't be for the time being. So let's see what happens towards the end of this race. Well, I've been told that I think Lizana had a slight disconnect and she lagged a bit or something, or ghosted, and I think Polishman had something to do with this. She's left the session now, but she'll be frustrated. It must have been sort of glitching slash desync. I agree with that one, but it's a shame though because she was doing nothing wrong throughout the whole race. She led the race when she took it off Palmer on the first lap, but it's just one of them things, isn't it? It's an uncontrolled variable, really. Uncontrolled factor. Oh, you saw it. Did you watch it back on stream, or did you watch it from somebody else's POV? Did he get caught on stream? Because I should have been paying attention, but obviously behind a safety car, I don't expect anything to happen unless people would dive in the pit lane like they did. We're down to 8 drivers now, and majority of them, except 3 of them, get half a penalty. So we might see Jay Hartnell and Eisen on the podium, depends if they can keep it within the deficit of those penalties. But Palmer has a great chance of winning the race. And I'll go back to the stream and watch it then. Can you pinpoint what lap it was?
2004 US Grand Prix, which saw 14 cars pulled out of the race due to tyre safety.
Thank you, Wait, see, appreciate that, mate. I was on board with Palmer once at the time. I don't think I flicked through anybody else. So Lozano was actually a P1, or was this under a different safety car? What lap is it? 26? So it must have been 24 or something. Second safety car, yeah. Because Polish Ben was up into P2 after the first safety car restart after Palmer went off the track. So I was watching the first safety car, but really it was under the second safety car. So having a quick glance at what happened, too far into the stream, need to go back a few seconds. Needs to be very quickly though, because the safety car should be coming in at the end of this lap. Lap 23 towards the back end. Towards the back end of the lap. Look towards the top of the screen. You'll follow in Palmer. Yeah, I'm watching it now, mate. So I'll have a quick glance at what happened. Yeah, apologies for not catching it. That's a strange one, you know. I didn't really. Oh, yeah. I just see that Lozano Zera desynced and Polishman went through her. I didn't see no tyres come off either. No, there's no tyres on the track. Internal damage? Well, that's quite strange. First time I've seen that glitching this race. She hasn't really been lagging this race either, so yeah, she teleports backwards towards Polishman, so I dare say it wasn't their fault. I mean, it's not either of their fault, it's just the game being the game, really. So, apologies, Polishman. I thought you overtook her under the safety car, but now I've watched it back, you haven't, so I've got to give my apologies to you. But both Aston Martins on the Inters, and off we go then for the safety car restart. Dat Rowan is looking interested on Palmer now as we go side by side. You can't really overtake before after the safety car line, but as we head into turn 1 in this corner, now heading into turn number 2, the first braking turn when we saw Palmer off the track. And look at it, Dat Rowan is up the inside and in contact, and they both keep it on the track there. Very crucial that they did go off the track, and also for Palmer's sake, fighting for the championship. That really would have upset people, or upset Palmer if he forced him off the track or made contact with him, but luckily has stayed on it. And Palmer with the extra grip on those wets will go up the inside into Torsa, and he opened the door, allowed him through, went deep, and Sophia will be under pressure from Dat Roland. This would be his highest position. Oh, make contact, and Sophia's off the track. Oh, that was so close, making contact once again between the Ferrari and the McLaren. Did that really leave enough space there on the outside? But anyway, Sofian went from 2nd to 8th in under 1 lap. Yeah, that's the risk you take by staying out there on the Inter tyres. They went for track position, but ultimately they would get demoted down there because of the difference in tyres they have on the cars. Gotta start raining now though, if the Inters wants to be still in play. It does look like it's easing off just a bit, because it was quite treacherous and a lot of puddles on the track a few laps ago, but it's still like the wet tyres are the best, and Palmer gets a very good exit out of the final corner to go wheel to wheel, and now ahead of Polishman. Will he fight back, I wonder? Will he have the tyre life coming towards the end of the race if the rain's easing off a bit? Polishman's still there, but can he go around the outside? I think that was a bit of a lag spike, you know. It's Palmer, if I remember him correctly, he's running crossplay, and Polishman is struggling, and Dat Rowan is ahead of him. It's P2. This would be a great result if Dat Rowan can finish on the podium, because his highest position I think has been 8th, and he's had a few retirements this season, so if he could get on the podium, that'd be great for him. Bearing in mind he's got 3 second time penalties, so have other people. We can see Bazza going side by side with Jay Hart now. Fair play to Bazza, you know, because he was in the last majority of this race after front wing damage in the first lap. Massive respect for staying out there, despite running in last place majority and quite far behind. So that's what happens when you stay out there. You never know what could happen. And here we are with the safety car and rain. Because I know most people, like myself, would have quit in the pits and retired, but Basil Fox there, with that fighting ability and fighting mentality, still putting challenges on the track, as Sofian has re-overtaken Craigo. As you can see, he jumped the curb there out of the Variante outer chicane, and now Craigo will be back ahead of him once again then, so double blow there, losing the position and jump in the corner, unless he got an illegal overtake, which I don't think he did, because he overtook him before the corner. But lap 28 out of 32, how bad is this rain? It looks like on the verge of Inters / wets. I think both tyres are good for now, but Craigo is in the pit lane. So is this a brand new wing, or is this a brand new set of Inters? Because he's left it quite late. I think the best bit, oh, it's a brand new wing, but I say it's Inter tyres too, so I think the Inters are starting to be more alive again, but we'll see if it eases off towards the Inters way. Oh, Bazza, look at that, at the exit of the further chicane there, almost dropping it like Perez did, I think, and Albon too. Perez and Albon, both in Red Bull, dropped at the exit of the corner. Carlos Sainz avoided Albon in 2020. 1 year later, Perez did the same thing. I think he did it twice. I'm not quite sure if he did it twice or not in the same race. So Palmer then has a clear lead. I'm not really good with mathematics, so I'll leave it to the stewards to decide. I like the championship. Bazzo P4. Jay Hart now might actually pick up a podium. What's the gap? 4.5? Yeah, if he stays there, he might get a podium with Jay Hart now. First podium of the season. His last podium, I believe it was at the Austrian Grand Prix last season. He won the race on older tyres in the Austrian Grand Prix. What a great drive that was back then. But now a podium to this site. 3 drivers ahead of him have picked up a penalty. As Polishman tyre is still good enough on those Inters. Looks like the rain is starting to ease off now and becoming more Inter territory than the wets. but it looked so treacherous out there a few moments ago. But not so bad as it was, as Sofian has overtaken Eisen then. So I think both Aston Martin stand on the Inters. It was just all about survival, wasn't it? I don't think nothing more Polishman could have done against Palmer being on those older Inters, but it looks like the Inters then are still a good tyre at this stage. 3 laps to go in this race. Even though there's been 12 drivers and now 8 only running, it's still been alright. I know I've been silent for like the majority of it, but I've been ill, I can barely talk. I'm coughing a lot, and obviously you guys don't want to hear me coughing and sniffing as well, so yeah, that's the most I could do. Is just stream the race and try and talk in between and each part and segments. King Panda has already uploaded his footage, even though he's still in this race. Polishman's gone out wide, out of the Aqua Minerales. Yellow flags, that's a Red Bull. J Hart, no spun! Oh no, he had to survive 3 laps. Oh, that's gonna be a bit. It's gonna add a sting in the wounds there for Joey Hart now. All he had to do was keep on the track. Easier said than done, of course, but a podium was there. He'll be hitting himself with that one, knowing that he could have finished on the podium tonight. But yeah, gotta keep it on the track at all times, unfortunately. 1978, 81, 85, 1997. Grego picks up a 3-second tap penalty on lap 31 out of 32. Jay Hart now has pitted this lap. I think the championship will still go towards the last race of the season in Sao Paulo, but obviously Palmer will have a big advantage in the championship. I think he's still 2 points ahead in the championship. Let's have a look, shall we? Yeah, he's 32 points ahead. 30 plus 32, 62. And obviously Bazza in P4. How many points did he get for P4? It's 17 points. So Palmer will gain 14 on Bazza this race. Depends if Bazza gets dropped down due to penalties, but he shouldn't do if he's got a 3-second penalty. No, he's got a 6, so he might drop towards... Oh, he's going to drop behind Sofian and Eisen. Well, a lot of calculations to do in this race, but I think Eisen's too far back. Yeah, he is. So he'll drop behind Sofian. And here comes Palmer then, making his way towards the final corner as he will start his last flying lap. But Polishman is about to go side by side with that Roland then. So his Inter tyres are still working. I think the Inters now are good at this stage of the race. They're back to life. They're back to their normal form. It was the wet tyres that were the most favourable tyres during that first safety car, but the rain has eased off and he's moved himself into P2. So you get 10 points for P5. The gap will be 20 points. Who sets the fastest lap, by the way? Let's have a look. Oh, I'm looking at the wrong graphic as always. It's Lozana Zero who's picked up the fastest lap. She'll maintain... No, I don't think she will, because she will get a point for it because she didn't finish 90%, 95% of the race. It's a shame there. She'll keep the fastest lap because she sent it in the dry. But I feel so bad for her. She was doing such a good job. Luckily, she's not in a championship fight. Otherwise, that would be a big blow towards her. And Palmer... Wow, I don't think he expected P1 after Lozana Zera and Polishman's mistake. It's neither their fault. I'll say it again, it's neither their fault. It's the game's fault because Lozana Zera teleported back towards Polishman, and obviously Polishman didn't know that was going to happen and therefore made contact. And here comes Palmer towards the final corner as he will see the checkered flag and he will win here at the Imola Grand Prix. Great job from him to finish in P1. Polishman in P2 with Dat Roland will finish in P2. Oh, I forgot about that, you know. Bazza will get a podium, will he? Will he go to Eisen? No, he's too far back. Something must have happened to him because he was close towards Bazza, but he dropped back quite dramatically. But Bazza is on the podium. I don't think he expected that after lap 1, you know. Dat Roland's left the session, so they all move at 1. Don't know why it does that. I don't think he's won the championship in this race. I think the championship still go towards... Well, has it? I don't know. Oh, so Harry Palmer has actually won the championship. He had to outscore Bazza. Yeah, he did. That's logical. I've actually forgotten how to do maths, you know. Quite good at maths back in school and college, but ever since I left, just forgot how to do it. Even the simplest things. So Palmer is the Tier 4 World Champion. Congratulations to Harry Palmer. All he had to do was outscore Bazza Fox. But nevertheless, it's been a great season for both of them. I know they had ups and downs in different races. Spain, I remember Bazza retiring from as well. Mixed in mixed fortunes, unfortunately, but out of top, it was Harry Palmer in the end. And yeah, he should be pleased with that one. Screw you, Caleb, for not commentating with me. I was totally joking. So I've joined Palmer's party to interview him, and he looks like he was alone in the party too. So I'm only going to interview Palmer because, obviously, of the illness I'm suffering with. But Harry, congratulations on winning the championship, mate. Firstly, talk us through with your race because I know you're behind Lozana Zero. Were you quite amazed at how much of a gap she pulled during the dry stint in the race?
Yeah, obviously she started on the medium tyres, and then I was on the hard, so I was expecting to start pulling forwards around the last part of the stint before the wets, and it just didn't happen. I was really confused. I knew before the race that you could do about 20 laps on the mediums, but I wasn't expecting it, only because my hard tyres were dying around that point. So the mediums going that far, then just want to say well done to Sarah for taking that long.
I think at the Silverstone Grand I'm talking about the championship now, but let's talk about the race firstly before we go on to the championship. But yeah, during that interface, you pitted at the right time. You gained a huge 4 seconds. So when you gained that amount of time, did you think at all in that race? Did you any chances of winning the race before she retired?
No, there was multiple. I think when the rain started for about 5 laps before I pit, I was doubting to pit. I choose to pit, put the tyres on, and then just not go into the pit lane. But it got to a point where I think it was like turn 4. I just lost the car completely with the rears, so I had to pit. Luckily, I didn't spin, but it was at that point that I kind of realised that I had to pit.
Is the reason why you went to the hardcore powered tyres because you thought the rain would come much later, but it came quite early?
It's it's difficult. Obviously, at the start, it said it was going to rain, but for like a third of the 8 bars, I think it is. That's not right. My maths isn't great. The last 3 bars were wet, so I thought that putting the hards on would take me to that very end. Um, but I'm surprised the mediums went that far. So to any driver that got them that far, just well done.
And in the championship. I think it really helped, you know, because Basil Fox didn't turn up at the Miami Grand Prix, and it allowed you to gain a lot of points from him in Miami. So, do you think at that point that really helped you win the championship today? Because I don't know why he didn't turn up at Miami. Do you know why?
No, I'm not sure. I can check, but I'd rather not because yeah, just it's a bit
You,
late now.
I remember at the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, you said to me, "Oh, championship's done now. Baz has won this easily." But one race later, Basil was the one that had a bad race, and you won the British GP. So what point of the season did you think, oh, I've still got a chance to win the championship now?
I think the whole season I knew there was a chance because obviously mathematically I could have won it, but I didn't want to like boost myself too much because I have a history of bottling races on the final corner and on the last lap, so I didn't want to do anything. I didn't want to say anything. 'Cause if I did, I'd just lose the championship.
Been an intense fight with you and Lozana too. Do you think if you and Lozana, if she was full time, do you think that should be a mega pain for you in the championship?
Yeah, I think she would have won it by now. Like I think because I think I said that too many times. The first few races, I don't think she raced. So if she raced, she would have won this championship by a mile. There's no doubt about that.
what's been your strongest points this season as well? Because you've really stepped up your game this season. I know in the last few races of the last season, that's when you stepped up your game. I don't think you won the Mexican Grand Prix if I remember that one, but you were definitely in the lead for majority of it. So you really came far from where you were last time in last season. This season, you stepped up so much as well. I know the Austrian Grand Prix, you were in the top three, but when the rain came, that's when they disconnected. You retired, I think, at the Austrian Grand Prix. But after that, you came second ahead, well behind the Zanazero when you side by side in the last few corners. Then one race later in Melbourne, she finished ahead of you again. But when it came to Losail at the Qatar Grand Prix, you won the race. So yeah, it's been a great season for me. You had your bad races, obviously. Same with Basil Fox as well. But what's been your strongest race this season?
I think I have to go for Qatar. It's I think many times I've raced at the track, it's just been one of my strongest. Obviously, I've won it this season. There's a few other leagues that I've won it in, so I think it's just one that I'm slowly getting used to. Yeah, that's just helped me overall.
Yeah, I think you've won 4 races this season as well, with sharing wins with Basil Fox, Panda, and Lozana Zera too, and Sofian. But what's been your weakest race this season? What races do you think you could have improved on?
Um, it would have to be Austria. I'm just on this game and last game. It's not caught on to me. I don't know if I have DNF the race, then obviously it'll be that race. But overall, racing wise, I'd have to choose Austria. Just I've not got around to actually. I just can't get better at the track. Is the best way to put it.
What's changed from last season to this season? Like, what have you done differently now? Have you practiced more? Have you got used to the game?
I would probably say mostly the Williams team, and obviously my team. The Williams team have just helped with we're just within the chats. We always talk, make sure everyone's where they need to be, and that's helped. And then obviously TGT have just been a massive help. I think the second part of this season when I joined, it's helped me so much.
And how have you managed to sustain the pressure, the championship as well? How have you managed to come back? Because in Abu Dhabi, you lost a huge bunch of points. That must have played a mental effect on your mind in the next few races. So, how have you come back stronger? Like, what have you done?
Just personally not boosting myself too much. I know that, like I said before, if I boost myself too much, I will bottle it. The first part of the season, I was hoping to do good, and then the final half, I've kind of, stepped down from being what I think's good, and just focused on driving rather than outside of the track.
Yeah, thanks. We've still got one more race left to go in the season as well. So championship has been decided, and one more race left to go. I presume you just gonna have fun there.
Yeah, I'm gonna make sure that if I'm allowed, donuts it is.
Say again, sorry.
Donuts it is if I'm allowed.
Oh yeah. Well, in qualifying or the race.
Both.
Oh, so I don't think so. Yeah, you won't be winning that. You won't be winning the last race, will you?
No, unless I'm bothered, then I don't think I'm gonna win this race.
Is Brazil a good track for you? Do you like the track in general?
No, I had a race here the other week and it just went terrible.
Fair enough, mate. So, congrats on the win today and the championship. You did a great job. You said you think you didn't win it, well, you think you weren't going to win it at the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, but one race later, you gained a lot of points on Basil Fox. And after the British GP, I think that's when it swung towards your way more than Baz's way.
Yeah, it's been a long season, but thank you.
Yeah, no worries, mate. And Basil Fox, yeah, it's been a struggle season. Well, he's had a good season too, but in the last few races, he didn't turn up in Miami at the Spanish Grand Prix. He also was taken out by somebody at turn 7. I can't remember who it was, but yeah, he's had his fair share of incidents too and problems. It's gone the same way as Palmer, but Palmer managed to come back on top after the last few races. So it's been a great job from both of them, and Palmer's the champion. So I'll see you all in Tier 1 at the Imola Grand Prix for Tier 1. Sorry about that, I was just losing my voice. Anyways, I'll see you all later, and the next race here at Tier 4 is Brazil.